Block 1. Halftime Memory Manipulation. Think about the last time you watched a major sporting event. The tension, the drama, the raw emotion of the first half. A controversial call by the referee, a fumbled ball at a critical moment, a last-second score that changes everything. These memories feel sharp, visceral, and absolutely real. But what if they aren't? What if, during that dazzling 15-minute intermission, a sophisticated psychological operation is underway, designed not just to entertain you, but to subtly rewrite your recollection of what you just saw? This isn't science fiction. This is the core of a chilling theory known as the Lethe Protocol, a speculative concept that proposes the modern halftime show has evolved into one of the most effective tools of mass perception management ever conceived. The theory suggests that the spectacle of lights, sound, and pyrotechnics is a carefully engineered assault on the senses, a tool designed to induce a state of heightened suggestibility in millions of viewers at once, potentially allowing for the subtle editing of their memories concerning the first half of the game. To understand how this could even be possible, we have to look at the mechanics of the human brain, specifically how it processes and stores memories, especially under stress. Our minds are not perfect recording devices. Memory is a reconstructive process, not a playback. When you recall an event, you are reassembling it from fragments, and that process is highly susceptible to influence. Now, consider the state of your brain during a competitive game. You're emotionally invested. Your adrenaline is up. Neurologically, your amygdala, the brain's emotional core, is firing on all cylinders. This high-stakes emotional state actually makes memories more potent, but also more fragile in the immediate aftermath. The moments and hours after an event are a critical period known as memory consolidation, where the brain transfers short-term memories into more stable long-term storage. The Lethe Protocol theory hinges on the strategic disruption of this exact window. Imagine the halftime whistle blows. Your team is down by 1 point after a play you're convinced was a bad call. You're agitated, replaying it in your mind. Then the stadium goes dark. Suddenly, an explosion of sound and light erupts. Thousands of synchronized strobe lights flash in complex hypnotic patterns. A bass-heavy beat drops, so powerful you can feel it in your chest, even through your TV speakers. Lasers slice through artificial fog, creating a mesmerizing, disorienting visual field. This isn't just a concert. It's a textbook example of sensory overload. Your brain, which was just hyper-focused on the details of the game, is now being bombarded with an overwhelming flood of new, intense stimuli. It simply can't process everything. It's forced to triage, to decide what's important and what isn't. In this state of cognitive chaos, the fragile, newly formed memories of the first half, like the specific angle of that controversial play or the look of disappointment on a player's face, are deprioritized. They are pushed to the background, their emotional sharp edges sanded down by the sheer force of the new sensory input. This overload does more than just distract. It can induce a state akin to light hypnosis. The constant rhythmic pulsing of lights and music can entrain brain waves, guiding the mind into a more passive, receptive state. It's a state of reduced critical thinking, where you are less likely to be actively analyzing your previous thoughts and feelings and are more open to suggestion. The show is designed to be a powerful emotional journey, taking you from awe to excitement to euphoria. This emotional tidal wave doesn't just sit alongside your feelings about the game, it can overwrite them. The frustration you felt about the bad call is replaced by the exhilaration of the performance. The anxiety about your team's poor performance is washed away by a shared sense of spectacle and unity. When the second half begins, you return to the game, but your emotional baseline has been reset. The memory of that first half is still there, but its emotional charge has been neutralized or even altered. The bad call might now seem less significant. The fumbled ball might feel like a distant fuzzy detail rather than a catastrophic error. Proponents of the Lethe Protocol argue this is entirely by design. Think about the stakeholders, the leagues, the broadcasters, the advertisers. Their goal is to maximize engagement and maintain a positive narrative. A game mired in controversy, where fans are angry and disillusioned, is bad for business. But a game where the memory of that controversy is softened, where the emotional sting is removed, keeps viewers hooked. It smooths out the narrative, transforming a potentially messy, frustrating event into a clean, exciting product. The halftime show, under this theory, becomes the ultimate tool for narrative control. It's a psychological palate cleanser. It ensures that no matter how ugly the first half was, the audience is reset to a state of optimistic anticipation for the second. It's a way to subtly edit the collective memory of the event in real time, ensuring the final story told is the one the organizers want you to remember. So, as we dive deeper, the question becomes, is this all just a happy, profitable accident of entertainment design, or are there specific quasi-scientific techniques being deployed within these shows that point to a more deliberate, more manipulative intent? Neuro-Weapon Evidence. So, the theory is on the table, the halftime show as a mechanism for memory manipulation, a psychological reset button pressed at the game's midpoint. It's a compelling, if unsettling, idea. But a theory is nothing without evidence, or at least a plausible mechanism that goes beyond simple distraction. This is where the Lethe Protocol theory moves from the realm of psychology into the speculative science of neuroweaponry. The evidence, as proponents call it, isn't a leaked document or a whistleblower's testimony. It's found by reverse engineering the spectacle itself, looking at the specific technological and artistic choices made in these shows and asking if they serve a purpose beyond pure entertainment. The argument is that the patterns, frequencies, and rhythms are too specific, too consistent across different events to be coincidental. They suggest a deliberate application of neuro-linguistic and sensory influence techniques on a mass scale. Let's start with the most powerful tool in the arsenal, light. The human brain is incredibly sensitive to light, not just for vision, but for regulating our internal clocks, our moods, and our state of consciousness. A key concept here is brainwave entrainment, or photic driving. This is a real documented phenomenon where the brain's own electrical cycles, its brain waves, will begin to synchronize with the frequency of a rhythmic external stimulus, like a flashing light. Different brainwave frequencies are associated with different mental states. Beta waves are for active, alert consciousness. Alpha waves are for relaxed, reflective states. And theta waves are associated with deep meditation, drowsiness, and the state just before sleep, a state of profound suggestibility. The Lethe Protocol theory posits that the complex light shows are not random. The strobes aren't just flashing, they are pulsing at specific frequencies, perhaps cycling through patterns designed to guide the collective consciousness of the audience from an alert beta state down into a more suggestible alpha or even theta state. Imagine millions of minds all being gently nudged into a semi-hypnotic state at the exact same time, their critical faculties dimmed just enough to allow the emotional narrative of the show to take root. This effect is then amplified exponentially by sound. The music isn't just loud, it's engineered. The driving, repetitive beat, often around 120 beats per minute, is known to be highly engaging, but it's the underlying frequencies that a Lethe Protocol theorist would point to. They would argue that these shows may employ principles similar to isochronic tones or binaural beats, using specific pulsing tones or rhythmic patterns to further encourage brainwave entrainment. When the perfectly synchronized lights are pulsing at a specific frequency and the audio is reinforcing that same rhythm, the effect becomes incredibly powerful.
It's a full-spectrum sensory experience designed to hijack the brain's natural rhythms. The why behind this alleged operation is where the theory truly solidifies. The motives are layered, ranging from the mundane to the deeply conspiratorial. On the most basic level, it's about narrative and emotional management. A team that just had a disastrous first half can have that memory softened, making fans more forgiving and more likely to stay engaged. A boring, uneventful half can be forgotten, replaced by the memory of a spectacular show, preserving the overall value of the entertainment product. But the more sinister interpretations point towards influencing public perception and even economics. Consider a highly controversial referee call that could impact the league's credibility. If the collective memory of that call can be made fuzzier, if the outrage can be chemically dampened by a flood of endorphins from the show, the post-game discourse is fundamentally altered. It becomes less about the league's incompetence and more about the incredible halftime performance. And in a world where sports betting is a multi-billion-dollar industry, the ability to subtly influence the perception and confidence of millions of fans could have staggering, albeit difficult to trace, financial implications. Now, it is absolutely crucial to pump the brakes and engage our own critical faculties. The skeptical counter-argument is powerful and frankly very reasonable. The simplest explanation, Occam's razor, is that a halftime show is designed to be as spectacular as possible because a spectacular show is entertaining. People love sensory overload. Flashing lights and loud rhythmic music are exciting. The psychological effects, a skeptic would argue, are merely a byproduct of pushing entertainment technology to its absolute limit, not the result of some secret manipulative protocol. Furthermore, the science of brainwave entrainment on a mass scale is highly speculative. The idea that you could precisely manipulate the brain waves of millions of people, all sitting at different distances, viewing on different screens, in different states of attentiveness, is a monumental stretch. There are simply too many variables. There are no leaked memos, no scientific papers proving this application. The entire Lethe Protocol theory is built on circumstantial evidence and a compelling narrative, which is the hallmark of any good conspiracy theory. So, where does that leave us? The Lethe Protocol remains a fascinating, unproven theory. It forces us to look at a familiar piece of culture with new, more critical eyes. The truth is likely somewhere in the middle. The designers of these shows absolutely understand the psychology of spectacle and use every tool at their disposal to create a powerful emotional experience. Whether the primary intent is manipulation or simply entertainment is the question you have to answer for yourself. So, the next time you're watching the big game, conduct your own experiment. As the halftime show begins, pay attention. Don't just watch the show, watch yourself.
Notice how the memory of the first half feels. Is it still sharp, clear, and emotionally charged? Or does it start to feel a little more distant, a little less important, as if you're recalling a dream? The answer might be hiding in the light.